Okay, good morning, everybody. Uh, Today we will see a case study which is based on a HR question. So, as we have seen already, HR has different kind of questions. Mostly, they are depending upon your soft skills because the moment you enter the HR interview, you're done with your technical, you're done with your VQR, domain, coding, specific to the domain, MCQs, whatever. So moment we go to the HR, you are almost selected. They're just waiting to look at certain aspects of you in different levels. That is all of soft skills and commitment. So this is one aspect that we should rarely see. That is, how to answer a question is something else. How to answer a known question is something else. But how to handle a question which you don't know to answer, at least for that moment, is very very important. So let us see how to answer this so-called impossible question. So here you are. The HR is a man who is very patiently waiting for you for quite some time to come and answer this question. So let us do some justice to him. The HR can be from your technical domain or not from your technical domain also. So that also exists. So let us have a few samples of what we mean as a impossible question. So one such question is, there are a few questions which you have already seen there, and just adjust myself so that you can read a few other questions also. So there can be questions like this: how many balloons that you can fill in a jumbo jet plane, or how many liters of waters are there in the Arabian Sea. There are different kind of questions like this. There can be any kind of questions like this for that matter. So if you want me to read what is there, you can do it by yourself. So I am giving you other options of how it can be. There are many questions like this. The very basic question is, which came first, the chicken or the egg? That goes on, isn't it? So there is a reason why the HR is doing this. There is a reason why the HR is taking you for a round with this impossible question. So without knowing the reason, there is no pointing in answering the question, because the HR by himself knows this particular question he is not asking for the sake of the answer, not at all. So this is not an answer oriented question, it is an application oriented question. When I say application, we are speaking about self application. Yes, problem solving. How to solve it? SNS is quite famous for design thinking. The entire aspect of design thinking is problem solving with empathy. Why we emphasize on empathy in problem solving is, I think, as a design thinker in SNS you will know that, so I don't want to go into that. But for the general public, see, every company runs with a different kind of customers' needs and satisfaction of the customers. The products varies. Some are material based, some are hard skill based, some are soft skill based, some are software based, some are voice based. So it varies, and the time varies also. So when it comes to problem solving, the most important thing is, a theory paper necessarily need not to be the guide always. You need to apply yourself, you need to innovate yourself, you need to invent something new. So you will not have this option much in terms of how to solve something in your current company from your textbook. It's not possible. So to see what we can do means you need to apply yourself completely. Exactly. Why is he asking the question? Why is he saying? Because he wants to see how you react. He wants to see how you take a challenge. Let's say if somebody asks you, If I give you 50 horses, how will you travel it from Tirunelveli to London? If you just laugh at it, you are not really ready to take a new challenge in your life. During this era of mobile phones, did anybody even imagine that I can speak to you even without looking at you like this in this technology? If somebody speak about all these webinars before 10 years, 15 years, people will think you're nuts. But there were some people who took it seriously and worked on it, and that is why you and me are having this conversation via YouTube. At least I'm conversing, you may be observing. Of course, you can comment in the comment box. So the first thing is, how do you really look at it? There are some people who, that kind of expression, which means they're terrified about new things. Some people can overact. Some people can exactly look into the eyes and say, I don't know, sir. These things don't get you really a job. Maybe a mimicry artist for you, that's it. So when he asks this question, the first thing is, keep yourself grounded. Look at him. The body language of yours can get curious but not furious. You can be curious. You can be listening. You should be listening, but don't do all these things in slow motion. I'm trying to do something, but these are not acting classes, so you can have your own thing. The basic thing about this slide is the impossible question is like a future. It's like a scenario that you may face in your company. So when this kind of situation happens, how you react, how you act, that is your caliber. So it starts from the moment you hear this question. So if you're going to really be sincerely listening, looking at the question, asking for it, and then you're in this round. Step one is that. Mahatma Gandhi was one person who took the impossible thing. A nation was enslaved, was ruled over, and people were separated with different names, castes, religions, and no multimedia, no mass media, just word of mouth. Of course, newspapers were there, but the literacy rate was really less. So he took up a challenge for this freedom of the country without violence. There was a most interesting thing that he did. If somebody could have asked you this, is it possible? You would have said no, but this man made it possible. Not even one of us have a problem like this that he had. So that was a logical way of looking at things and doing magical things also. So Mahatma Gandhi was one person who took an impossible task, but not just one Mahatma. There were many Mahatmas. Whom we call as Gandhi is an embodiment of those Mahatmas. There were thousands and lakhs of men and women and children who gave their life for this. So how did he solve it? And people were buying guns. He took off his shirt, walked bare-bodied, and he kept it like that. He logically looked into things, and he came with numerous solutions of his own and with his counterparts, and moved step by step. That's how we got the freedom. It was not a one-day issue. So we need not necessarily put it like that. It's a one-day issue. Some problems can have. Now when I say problem, now I'm speaking about the companies. I'm not speaking exactly about the question. For the question, you have a very short time. Archery is a very important task. And now, if you say archers, we don't understand. If you say snipers, you understand. Even snipers need to go to the same thing what the archers need to go through. To some extent, you don't need that much muscle power that an archer needs, but you need a very focused mind. A sniper or archer, they do. So, moment he asks this question, believe me, he will really decorate the question in such a way you might get distracted very easily. So, when he asks this question, I want you to focus on the answer. I want you to focus on the question first before getting into the answer. So, once he asks it, I want you to visualize it, how it is, what it is he wants, what is the question really, and then you understand the question, and then we go for the answers, not the vice versa. Okay? So, if somebody asks you, how many pockets do people have in this country in their costumes? Let us say there's a question like this: in the second largest populated country, how many pockets people have? Pockets, shirt pockets. If you ask it, then we can cut it down into two by asking him, are you speaking about men or women? Which means half the population will go away if he says men. Then we can ask him, are you speaking about formal shirts or casual shirts or t-shirts? Then a particular percentage will go down. Then we can ask him, what is the age of the people who you're speaking about? 25, below 25, above 50, including all. There is another set of population which will go on. This will look like a story for you, but believe me, this works because you're looking into the problem. What if we say everybody and everything, including jeans, front pocket, back pocket, everything? Are you speaking about people who are wearing the dresses or the ones in the bureaus also? If he says all, how will you solve? Let him say all. What's the problem? We can do some multiplication and add a few zeros. What's the problem? An average American wears 25 kilos of clothes. Oh, not at the time. He sheds 25 kilos of cloth per year. This is the statistics from US. That is the most. Indians are shedding around 2 to 3 kgs of clothes. Yeah, this is just data. If you have data like this, you can very easily look into the question and go for the answer. That's very easy. Evacuation plan, isn't it? See, every building is built well. Even if you have an Audi car, you still have a stepney tire, don't you? Actually, the problem solving is one thing. Understanding the problem is one thing. Anticipating different situations which can come on. So, doesn't matter what kind of building you have, what kind of company you have, you always have a plan B, plan C, plan D. If you're working on a larger scale with a lot of people, you should have a plan A, plan B, plan C. There can be no other solution to that. You should have. If you're individual, that is up to you. But as a group of people, we always need to have this. Some people become super ambitious and have super duper failures. Not because ambitious is wrong, but being too narrow-minded is wrong. A person who can look at the impossible question can always look at the possible problems that can arise in the future. That is why this attitude is given to them. Certain level of creativity, certain level of compatibility, how he looks at things and mixes up with people. That's it. So if they ask you, how will you make an evacuation plan or something, we have given a few answers because we want the HR to understand you are sincere about the problem. You're trying to break the problem. Once you get more and more details about the problem, HR will really look at you with some dignity because he understands you're sincere. That's all he looks for. In one way, sincerity is a big soft skill that he is looking for. Loyalty, sincerity, dedication, commitment. But creativity and innovation, that is how the answer should be. But this is the basic thing. Every job today, mostly in software, as much technical it is, that much creativity is also. So we need to be both. If you want to be in R&D, we need to look at both. Look at the app which the Indian government brought up. This app Corona came and immediately they started making an app like this. No school or college in this planet ever trained students to create an app like this. Because we never saw a problem like this, then went to create an app like this. But now we have this app, isn't it? This is in that short period of time. What do? That's it. That is an impossible situation. That is, right now when I am speaking, I'm not having a mask because I am really isolated. Not because I have corona, simply because I don't want the noise to spread. But still, you're hearing the crows. I hope I'm in the terrace, so you hear the crows and squirrels. Squirrels you don't hear. I can just turn the camera and show you, but it won't be formal, so I'm not showing. It's quite a majestic view I have. Mountains, trees, sky, you name it, I have it right there. One time I'll include this into the PPT also, maybe like a piece of nature I'll show you. Cutting down the problem. Cutting down is not the right word. Splitting it into smaller pieces and understanding what it is, that is a very beautiful thing to do. That is how we solve it. If you look at the world looks very big, but really look at it, every grass, every grain of sand, it contributes to it. Every molecule, every atom in its atomic state contributes. Whatever you call as big is just collection of small things. So whatever you call as impossible problem is just accumulation of possible data. That's it. So if you can look at a problem like this in that form, I would say you have got a big chance to do this. Have you seen this scene? The movie name is Pursuit of Happiness. I wanted to play the entire clip, but due to the technical issues, I can't do it right now. You can do it by yourself. I don't want to explain the scene step by step, but this scene is an impossible situation. He goes into an interview panel, a hi-fi interview panel, with some more jacket and paint in his hair and jeans, especially a way not to go. And he still gets a job as a apprentice come internship, unpaid. You should see this scene. The movie name is Pursuit of Happiness, and if you can understand how he does it, I would say that is the answer for this impossible question, which means an impossible situation, that we solve it to be successful. Here we are. Though he is Bill Gates, he made Windows. And Obama. These people are who they are because the kind of changes they brought. So this impossible question is very much possible. So let us work towards it and try to solve this. Okay? Thank you all.